Hello class! Today we've got a special lesson for you. We are going to have a look at McFarlane Toys AMC's The Walking Dead Zombie Biter. And this comes with biting action. Ooh! Now before we have a look at this too much, and we will because, you know, that's what we do, I do need to talk about the show a little bit. As I'm filming this, it's the day of the season finale for Season 2. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I don't want to give a whole lot away about what's been going on in the previous episodes of the season in case you haven't watched it yet. But we know there is going to be a siege on the farmhouse, which maybe I'm already giving too much away. But we know there's a whole bunch of walkers coming and they've been boarding up the farmhouse. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It sounds familiar to me because there's this movie called George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead from, what, 68? And then there was another movie called George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which was directed by Tom Savini. It's the remake. Both of these movies, besides having the title in common, have the fact in common that it's a bunch of people trapped in a farmhouse out in the middle of BF nowhere with a bunch of dead things coming at them. I'm wondering where the writers got the inspiration for that, you know? But maybe it'll be good, because it'll be like a modern re-envisioning of how Night of the Living Dead played out, or... I know, I'm just grasping now. It's going to be awesome, I'm going to enjoy it, but I just had to point that out. Like, seriously. Anyways, so if we continue having a look at this, we'll look at the packaging, and you know what? I just got to point out one thing right now. The way my camera is framed, it's got, you know, a grid of thirds to show things, and I'm holding the package right here. And really, could you not just cut the packaging in half and literally just have half the packaging and still have the zombie here and all this other crap is unnecessary? At any rate, I digress. So there he is. We're going to talk about him a little bit more because Zombie Biter is stupid as a name because I think all zombies bite. Or try to anyway. It is for ages 13 plus, which I guess is good. What else? What do we have on the back here? So, some other figures from this series. There is Rick Grimes, Deputy Rick Grimes, not Constable Rick Grimes, not Sheriff Rick Grimes, Deputy, and he comes with some stuff. There we've got our Zombie Biter. There we've got Daryl Dixon, who comes with crossbow, squirrels. Yeah, that's okay to laugh. Pickaxe, knife, and axe. I get the thing with the squirrels, because, you know, they're squirrels, but seriously, what the hell? Like, oh my god. And then the zombie walker, which actually in the context of the show is kind of redundant. The zombies are walkers. That's what they call them, you know, Walking Dead. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy this one, to be honest with you. It just looks so ass. Anyways, those are the ones in the series that we can get from McFarlane Toys. There we are again, and we can see the packaging. It's all kind of grungy looking, like it's end of the world, and our picture there, and we can see this piece of meat there that this thing comes with. So I think that's a look at the packaging. We don't have too much more to look at with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find something sharp. I'm probably going to cut myself, and then I'm going to open this. I'm not going to mean to cut myself. It's just me, sharp objects. These are things that happen. But then we're going to have a look at The Walking Dead's Zombie Biter. So we'll be back in a second. All right. Here we have the Zombie Biter. He bites out of his packaging, and I'll give you a quick look at this figure, a 360 view. Before we get into more about the figure, I want to address the name again, because I said that Zombie Biter is a horrible name, and it is. For me, this is the Greg Nicotero zombie. Now, if you're wondering, Greg Nicotero is the poor bastard who's in the makeup when this zombie was in episode, I think it was 3, Tell It to the Frogs. He was eating a deer, and then they beat on him, and etc., etc. I mean, it's a zombie, it gets killed, surprise, surprise. Greg Nicotero also is the, I think he's like consultant, special effects guy on the show, and he is basically a special effects legend. Goes all the way back to at least the original Dawn of the Dead, worked with Tom Savini. He's awesome, and he decided that the easiest thing to do would be for him to be in the makeup to do this effect that was with this zombie. So for me, this is the Greg Nicotero zombie. Not the first time he's been a zombie, probably not the last, but anyways, there he is. So this figure, I think maybe we should start with the detailing of the mold. Now again, much like the other zombies that we've looked at, McFarlane Toys, lots of detail in the mold. We can see the pants, that it's got the wrinkles in the pants, and we've got the seam there, and how it's a little bit baggier, so it's wrinkled there at the bottom. We've got his shoes, and we can even see the heel and the sole of the shoe down here. What else we got that we can point out? The cuffs go over his heels, which is kind of cool, which means he's going to wear them out and they're going to fray, kind of like what I do with my pants. And then people bitch at me, and I tell them to shut up, and then they get mad, and then I sleep on the couch, and then I don't care because it's like camping, and then, okay. So we can keep looking. Again, pants, he's got the pockets there on his butt, which is good, I guess. We can see how ratty his shirt is, and again, it's all wrinkled, and looks like there's some small tears in it. This dude was wearing a very, very baggy shirt that's all wrinkled and shit now. But even his hands, if we get into that, let's see if we can get that to focus a little bit on my hand. Aha! I don't know how well my camera will do it or not. But you can see the fingernails on the individual fingers and the knuckles. It's really, really nice. And the face, well, let's face it, that's really awesome. It looks pretty messed up. Like, this thing has been dead for quite a while. You can see the eyes in there. He's got a big gash there in his forehead, which must not have been deep enough to put the zombie down. Which means that's not how this poor sucker died either, I guess. And of course, he's got really nasty matted hair. Looks all grungy. He just looks incredibly, incredibly grungy. Like, most zombies, except for the really fresh ones, look grungy, but he looks exceptionally grungy. Now, for his coloring, I mean, a lot of muted colors. Again, I know it's not exciting to have muted colors on a zombie, but anything that's been dead for a while and exposed to the elements for God knows how long, the colors aren't going to be that bright anymore. So we've got his pants. They're kind of a grayish blue color. The only thing, when we look at the shirt, it's kind of the beigeish color with the black highlights, and obviously we'll talk about the blood because it's most obvious in a second. It looks like either the paint application or something looks like they just kind of spread it down, or maybe the whole thing started off as the color of the shirt and then they just painted the legs over top, because the highlights on the pants, which are, I think, supposed to be the wear marks, you know, the faded marks, it looks very similar to a shirt. I don't know if that was stylistically on purpose or just laziness or how that worked out. And of course, he's got copious amounts of gore on him. His hands are bright red because he was pretty much elbow deep into a deer's carcass. You can see that his tie, whatever color it was before, it's more or less red now. And just to kind of get the fact across that he's been gorging himself on venison, the red part on him is shiny, which actually I think is kind of cool. Like, it's relatively fresh, and it looks sticky like the way blood would be. I don't know, I find that to be very, very cool. I like that a lot. His face, you can't really see it, but he does have pupils in there, and they're colored pretty well. And of course his lower jaw is all covered in gore, and it's all red. And his face, actually, his head is a similar color to his shirt. They're not that different, that kind of, again, muted beige kind of color, which again, to me, not exciting, but what I would expect from a zombie that's been shambling around for a little while. So, you know what? Still, again, pretty good. In terms of the articulation, the head does not move at all. The arms are going to rotate all the way around, and then they can go out, even though they shouldn't, because it just looks kind of silly, because it looks like part of his arm's missing now. We can bend it at the elbow. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. And we can move his hand in there a little bit as well, but it doesn't look like, I don't think there's going to be a full range of motion, and I'm not going to try it. So, oh, look at that. Palm of his hand, there's some parts in there that's not colored red. So he's trying to wipe his hands or something. Bastard. We can rotate him at the waist. Oh, I think, well, it can go almost halfway. I'm not going to try to reef it all the way around. Put him back. And the legs have that same kind of joint that's cut across the waist here, the hips, where they just kind of rotate out like this, which is absolutely stupid. I'll come back to that in a second. We can bend the knees a little bit, and the ankles are probably on some kind of ball joint because the feet do move a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit there, which makes it a little bit easier to stand them up. Now, going back to the leg joints, honestly, I don't understand why, and I think I mentioned this before on previous zombies, why the hell the legs aren't just one solid piece from top to bottom all the way down. You're not going to put him in dynamic poses. You can make him look like he's trying to practice zombie yoga, which we'll call Zoga. And I just invented the newest retarded fitness fad. There, Zoga. Yeah, I know, it's as stupid as it sounds, and so is Zumba, or wherever the hell that one's called. And it's a fad, people. No one's going to care in a while. Anyways. But we still stand him up. So again, I think the whole articulation waist down is pointless. You're not going to do anything dynamic with it. You just need to get him to stand the hell up. And if he's standing on a flat surface that doesn't lean one way, and believe it or not, you can't, I don't think you can tell too much. My desk does lean a little bit. So, sometimes I have issues standing these little buggers up. But if he's on a perfectly flat surface, he stands up perfectly fine. Make it one solid piece. The articulation is retarded and pointless. Anyways. But the arms, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of motion there, because then we can have him reaching up. We can have him trying to be the Karate Kid. You know, we can do a little bit there, which is good. And again, the head, nothing. Most zombie heads turn, but this one doesn't, because, aha! This zombie has a gimmick. What gimmick is that? Oh, he's a biter. So if we look at the back here, we probably saw it before, there is a button. And if we press that, we get some awesome biting action. Hey, look at me. I'm a crappy gimmicked zombie. Not as crappy as some gimmicks out there. Maybe we'll see that later sometime. There you go. That's my gimmick. My mouth goes up and down. Really crappy-like. I hate gimmicks, and I hate gimmicks that limit the rest of the figure. I'd love to be able to turn his head a little bit, but nope, because chomp, chomp, chomp. Now, the whole biting thing, which if that wasn't enough, because, you know, grr, arg, grr, he comes with a piece of venison. It's a piece of deer meat that he has ripped off. And we can see there, that's obviously the flank or something of the deer. We can see that's probably the skin and the fur, and then the guts on the inside, and he's torn it. So I guess we can't really make him hold it to his mouth. We can try, but we can say, ah, and then, there we go. Actually, you know what? It looks like he's puking. Zombie puker. It's St. Paddy's Day and I've had too much. Ugh. Actually, it's March 18th, so it's not that far off, people. Anyways, this thing is stupid. I have no use for that whatsoever. And the biting action, I just really don't care about. And if you look closely when you push that down, he's got, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but there's this, you can see his teeth there, and then there's this red part, which I guess is to make sure it goes back into place properly. So it looks even silly when the mouth is open. Just retarded. I'm sorry. I don't like these stupid gimmicks, and this is another one of those stupid gimmicks. Although, maybe I'll use this as my avatar for a while, because it looks like it's talking. Okay. So there you have him. Stupid gimmick. This thing is stupid. Whatever. But how does he fit with the other zombies? So, we've grabbed his friends here from the comic book world of things. We've got the Lurker, I think it was, and the Roamer with his cool elastic headband so his head doesn't look all explodey. He's harder to stand up. So he does fit in size-wise pretty well. He's about the same scale. Even just looking at our little trio of Zombigos here, this one really doesn't seem to fit in as well. And it's just like, he looks like he's from a TV show or movie, and these ones to me just look more like they're from the comics. Now that just could be because I know the two on the outside are from the comics, and this one isn't. Take that. Oh, he missed. Bastard. There we go. And he lost his arm. Pussy. So he looks different, but he still looks zombified. You know what I mean? Like, they look like different kinds of zombies, like different stylistically. This one looks like from a show, this one looks like from a comic book, which would make sense. But they still fit to scale, which is nice. I don't know how much else I have to say about this. He's a nice addition to the zombie army that I'm trying to build very slowly. He'll go up there with maybe Zombie Spider-Man and these other guys and bug the hell out of my wife and visitors who come over. Would I recommend getting this figure? You know what? If you like zombies and you like The Walking Dead, definitely. If I was going to grade this figure gets... I'm going to give... No, I'm not going to do Z. I probably did that before, and that's kind of an old joke anyway. He's going to get a grade of A-, because he looks really good. I also just, I think Greg Nicotero's awesome, so I've got a soft spot there. He looks awesome. The thing that just kind of wears it down is the gimmick. The gimmick sucks ass, and I don't like it, and then they gave this stupid accessory, which is totally unnecessary. It would have been better if... Close your mouth, you bastard. It would have been better if it was just... You could turn his head. That's it. Or maybe they just sculpted it so the mouth was open. That would have been good enough for me, too. But I digress. Often and repeatedly. So would I get this? Yep. If you like Walking Dead, if you like zombies, I think it's worth having. Adding to your army, as it were. I think that's about it for our lesson on our zombie biter. Thank you very much. Enjoy Walking Dead tonight. Class is dismissed.